Boys and girls, this is the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, and you're listening to Going In Raw, baby.
This is Shayna Baszler, and you're watching Going In Raw.
This is the knockout artist, Cassius Ohno, and you're Going In Raw.
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you need to be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. And available wherever podcasts can be found in the audio realm. We also film these live on the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Speaking of which, tonight at 9 p.m. Pacific, I like to do something separate from wrestling, something that I enjoy away from wrestling, but still right here on the Twitch channel. Unsolved Mysteries Watch Party. Now, you have to have Amazon Prime to join in. But if you have it, it's amazing because Unsolved Mystery shows up on our screen, and then my little webcam thing, this guy, shows up above the chat. So we all get to watch Unsolved Mysteries together. It's my favorite thing in the world. I love it, and hopefully you will too. So join me then and all the friendos. We get last we had like 50, 60 people show up for
that's
it.
Fun. That's
so
fun.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. So there's that. And then, we've got all sorts of bonus content. And there's three ways now. There's three ways you can access the bonus content. For example, yesterday, while we had a chit-chat conversation, hung out with the friendos. Meanwhile, on the same stream, I was finishing up WWE 2K19, My Career with Steve Thunder. And it was a WrestleMania main event match. An overbooked disaster of a match. Mm-hmm. But that's just a little taste of the kind of bonus content you can expect here. Larson, name one of the ways friendos can get access to Friendo Club to the bonus content.
Well, I mean, for those watching on Twitch, all you have to do is subscribe. Bang, you get an email.
Boom.
Every weekday.
Bang. Exactly.
Or you can be a YouTube channel member, or you can be a patron at the $5 and up mark. What the heck?
Now, on the Patreon, the $5 and up mark, part of that includes, like, you can get access to all the previous stuff. Mm-hmm. If you're donating with a Twitch sub, you just get the email when it happens on the day. You don't get like a backlog of stuff.
Yeah.
So, but check out all the various ways to get access to that bonus content. Join Friendo Club. It's the new initiative.
Yeah, it's all inclusive. It is a new initiative.
That's our catchphrase. It's the new initiative.
It's a new initiative. It's all inclusive.
Exactly. So anyways, we had an NXT episode last night, so of course we're going to review that now. We did our AEW review last night. That's live right now at our YouTube channel, so go check that out if you're an AEW fan.
Yep.
What did you think about NXT last night?
It was fine. I mean, I think as this thumbnail of this particular video is an indication, it was more or less just to set up next week's episode, which they're really stacking the deck with, as you put it, takeover-worthy matches. You get Charlotte, Io Shirai, that's going to be great. You get a NXT title match, Velveteen Dream, Adam Cole, that's going to be great. You get the proper debut of the man formerly known as Killer Cross, now Karrion Kross, in Scarlett Bordeaux. They're great. So, I mean, it's shaping up to be a pretty huge episode. That being said, there were some fun matches here last night. Candice LeRae, new heel persona, is pretty solid. Johnny Gargano as her hype man is pretty fun. Her new finish, outstanding.
Yeah.
Dijakovic being straight shooter these days, that's pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
I really wasn't into the Newly Bros game. It was cheesy, but it was pretty bad.
Okay, so I kind of feel like you're right. So far, everything you said, I agree with. So I haven't piped up or nothing. The Newly Bros game, I think on paper it was a good idea. And if that was so here's the thing, man. I'm not sure it's the best idea to throw somebody in the deep end of the pool of waters that aren't really their strength. And Timothy Thatcher has a lot of strengths, and I can understand that he's had some good deadpan over the past couple weeks as we've been introduced to him. This was too much to ask of him. It really was. And the pacing of the whole thing, the entire thing was awkward. Go ahead.
Yeah, the whole thing was awkward. They really went way too far with. I understand it was a riff on the Newlywed Game. I get that.
Yeah, sure.
they could have done that riff without going way overboard with the game show stuff, like having Tom Phillips put on game show host voice to introduce things. Byron laying it on really thick with the cheese. They could have kept it a little bit more grounded in that respect. Just kept the basic premise where it's basically how well do you know your partner. Kept that premise without going way overboard with the cheese factor, and I think it would have been fine. But it was way too much. It was way too much.
I actually popped when they unveiled the big thing, because I was like, oh, this is something they don't usually do. Maybe I'll change the thumbnail to make it this for YouTube. Because I feel like it was the one thing that sort of stuck out as like, what the hell was this?
Yeah.
I kind of popped when I saw this stuff, and I laughed when I saw Byron's outfit, and I like Byron a lot. I think he's great, and Tom Phillips doing the voice. I was actually okay with like the presentation. I thought if the jokes were funny and if the timing was there on the jokes, I thought that that would have been fine. But the jokes weren't all that funny, and the execution of the humor itself, Riddle can kind of do no wrong in my eyes, to be honest with you. I think that he's hilarious regardless, and his he brought it to that level of like stoner humor where he's out of it. And he's like, Jason Mewes from, the Silent.
Yeah, I mean, hats off to him for finding creative ways to insert drug references into pretty much anything he does.
Right, exactly. It just, I don't know. It just didn't. I think the jokes just didn't land because the timing was too awkward.
Was at the end was they were saying speed ride. It's like speed's not really my thing.
yeah, that was.
I mean, there's funny bits. Not to say it was terrible. I just didn't think it was great.
Comedy is not easy to do. No, comedy is not, and especially if you're doing it on a big level like they were trying to do. Mm-hmm. It's just not easy to do. With comedy, pacing is everything. Comedic timing is everything.
Yep.
And delivery is everything. And it just, I don't know. It just
wasn't. It's not easy.
It's not easy. But
some of the timing. Sorry, go aheing. We're like Morrow here talking over Beth Phoenix all the time.
No, not at all. I give them props for trying something new, for trying to lighten it up. So, a couple months ago we were giving them guff for like, man, NXT feels like a chore. It's like 25-minute match after 25-minute match. They need to break it up a little bit. And so they are trying different things, and this was definitely something different. Mm-hmm, and I applaud them for trying it. Just, it didn't work, but that's okay.
No, it didn't work. No, it didn't work. We can agree on that. Everything else though was solid. Good.
Charlotte, boy, they made Mia Yim look like Marco Stunt versus Lance Archer. Charlotte, Mia Yim's finish isn't the eat defeat thing anymore, but it used to be. There was a time it was. Yeah. Charlotte shrugged that off.
Yeah, I think she's won matches with Cold Blue too as well.
Yeah,
kicked out of that.
Mia Yim got nothing in. But let's just go
that's not exactly the case. But I thought it was a fun match, but it wasn't competitive.
No, it wasn't. It kicked off though with the interim cruiserweight title tournament matchup against Isaiah Swerve Scott and Killshot versus King Cuerno.
Yeah,
I feel bad. I can't speak on those names, man, because I didn't watch.
The first Lucha Underground match I ever watched was Phoenix versus King Cuerno.
Ooh, I know. I probably should go. You know me. I'm like, I'm not gonna watch that crap. And then I watched one episode. I'm like, oh, this is great. I've actually seen like one episode.
The wrestling's pretty good.
No, I get it. It's cool. It's neat and everything. And I think at this point, especially because all those people have been like signed to like different. And so it'd be fun to go back and watch. Maybe one day. I don't know. Maybe one day.
So the symmetry of this match was interesting because early on, Phantasma was trying for some roll-ups, and he was taunted Swerve. Kept on saying, I was this close to beating you. And lo and behold, how does Swerve win? With a roll-up.
Yeah.
With the crucifix combo. I thought that was a nice touch.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of fun action in between. Swerve is great. Part of me really hopes he wins this. He's not going to. It's going to be Kushida nonetheless. A really fun match. And as I mentioned, Swerve gets the win via crucifix roll-up, following a sets up for his finish. So that's Phantasmo set for his finish. Swerve escapes that crucifix pin combination. afterwards, Swerve has an interview on the ramp saying I've fought Phantasma before this. A lot of respect for that guy. But he's like, I told everyone that I needed this win more than anybody else. When the game is on the line and you want someone to take the last shot, I'll take that shot and I'll always make it. I'm going to win, and it's going to be Swerve's house.
Mm-hmm. And then he said, there is no I in team, but there is in win. Mm-hmm. And this is not a team sport. So, yeah, of course he's going to take the last shot.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Next, Dominik Dijakovic, straight shooter.
He had like a little stain on his shirt too. It was like a little like he was drinking some water or something. And
it's amazing that for he's 6'7", and they say they bill him like 270.
Yeah,
when he's got civilian clothes on, he looks like a normal dude.
Yeah, he really does. It's probably shocking to stand next to him.
Yeah,
like if you've ever seen, I think didn't you and I see Peja at the airport once?
Yeah, and he was massive. He's 6'9".
Yeah, he's huge.
Massive.
But then you see him on TV, and because he's average height in the NBA. He doesn't look that tall on TV, but then you see him at the airport, it's like this giant.
Yeah, he's huge. Well, here's the thing. Like, it was just him walking. There's no relative sense of scale.
Yeah, right.
If Johnny walked next to him, he's like, oh, man, Dijakovic's a good foot taller. He's a giant in comparison to Johnny.
The way they framed it. Sorry, it's funny because you mentioned Morrow earlier, and I think it took this episode to realize that I'm kind of over that kind of commentary.
He talked over Beth so many times.
Mm-hmm.
So many times.
Yeah. It was
distracting. Too much. It was distracting. It got annoying that Beth was trying to make a point and he just talked over.
Mm-hmm. Also, like on if you think about it, like all the other commentary teams that we get, even on SmackDown, Cole and Graves, they're all kind of like just normal. Obviously, Jericho and Shivani are the thing right now, man. They're terrific. And then even on Raw, now you have Samoa Joe, and he's great. It's just in comparison. I know Morrow's supposed to be like the big play-by-play, big fight guy, but I don't know. For some reason this week, it just got to me even more than like usual. Sometimes I'm like cool with it. Like next week, it might be totally appropriate to have Morrow there.
I mean, really, for me, it was just interrupting and talking over people. It's like, dude, just let someone else get a word in.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3 people at the booth. Tom Phillips, I feel like, said like 5 sentences the whole time.
Yeah, I know.
There's just no room for him to work.
Yeah. So anyways, you're right, though, about Dijakovic. He comes off as just like the most normal dude. And he's like, yeah, Gargano. It's pretty funny. Says he wants to revolt against the establishment. Huh, that's funny. Because he's been to like, the establishment put him in like 46,000 straight takeovers.
And then he actually did, huh. He did a little putty laugh.
Huh.
And he's like, my parents, they taught me about respect. Johnny, Candice, they don't have any respect. They just want everything handed to them. He's like, Johnny and LeRae just went on and on and on. Let's see if they get back with the words next week. Yeah.
Yeah, gets me. They were going to call it Arby's night.
Yep.
We have the meat. After that, it showed what happened during a commercial break. El Hijo del Fantasma, he got attacked, or not attacked. They try to kidnap him again.
In the arena this time, though.
In the arena? I don't know. Like, it didn't work before when they just drove up next to him. How do they think they're going to, like, drag him all the way out? Maybe they thought they were going to knock him out or something.
Yeah. My favorite part was when after he was free, he, like, made sure his arms were still there. Did you notice that? He did this.
Yeah. He said, segunda vez, which means the second time. Oh, man.
That was pretty funny. Next, totally 100% heel Candice LeRae with menacing heel Tron, a new theme.
Pint-size poison.
Yeah.
Is what it's
taking on Kacy, Catanzaro. Gargano comes out or joins her. Actually, she makes her way down the ramp and it reintroduces her to the world. Calls her the best wrestler. Can't really argue with that because she's great. She says she has the best kicking foot. It's actually a form of birth control.
I loved it. Because I didn't notice him before he started like doing her ring announcing.
Because I think she came down the ramp, he was down on the floor, I think.
He was already there, so he just sort of wanders into frame as he starts talking, and I started cracking up, and he was hilarious doing this.
Pretty funny.
I like this, and I also mentioned this on text. It's sort of my main issue with Candice, how they booked her was just sort of like worrywart housewife.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, dude, come on, she is like one of the best wrestlers on the planet.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I like that he is saying, you need to go first now. You need to be the one who's respected. We're going to put the spotlight on you now. I'll be your ring announcer. I really like that. I wonder if she's going to do the same thing for him, which I think would be great, that they just want to elevate each other in this weird heel way next week when he takes on Dijak. But I thought that was hilarious. Talk about this. So I mean, this is Candice dominated the vast majority of this match. Kacy Catanzaro would she'd try to get some sneaky roll ups in here and there.
Yeah.
But in the end, talk about the finish.
So the finish is Candice. She sets up the leg, so Kacy's on her tummy. Candice sets up her legs like an STF, folded over, sticks her legs in between so they can't free the ankles, and then grabs the arms, puts her foot in between the shoulder blades, and then stomps down.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah.
Kacy sold it fantastic. Like she just like drove her head into the mat. It was great. Yeah,
it was awesome. I told you, I was like, dude, it's like a Danielson stomp, but also a curb stomp all in one move.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like you said, it's all about the sell because she planted her face into the mat.
It's the move that looks vicious.
It really does. It really does. It was great.
It was fantastic. After that, we had Damian Priest promo. It's like, I finally get to do what I started months ago, and when it's over, Lee will bask in the glory of the new North American champion. It's lost all my light. Damian Priest. And he sits there and thinks about it for a while and does this. Yeah.
He was smiling all cheesy. Yeah.
Yeah.
After that, we had the Newly Bros game because Matt Riddle says there's been criticism that NXT just puts random people in tag teams, but I had a real team with Pete, and he knows Tim he knows his new partner Tim like the back of his hand. If he had known the back of his hand for 2 weeks, and he's gonna prove they're a real team in the first episode of the Newly Bros show. And Timothy Thatcher's like, what the hell is this?
Yeah. So you have Tom Phillips doing the game show host voice. Byron is the actual host. He comes on down, and he says to Timothy Thatcher, "Is it true you actually ripped someone's eye out of their socket during a match?" And he just says, "Yeah." Like the delivery, the timing was off. The timing was off between Riddle writing his answers and Thatcher answering the questions.
Yeah, I know.
The timing was way off on most
because Byron asked a question and then Thatcher would start answering it as Riddle is writing it down.
Yeah.
The idea is ask the question, Riddle writes it down, and then Thatcher answers and see if you get it right.
I have a feeling that Thatcher's probably never seen Newlywed Game before.
I feel like it should have been. I think some of it could have been in the production of it too, because like when Thatcher says, because Byron said, "Is it true that you ripped out somebody's eyeball?" Thatcher says, "Yeah." I feel like there needed to be more like a close-ups or like some sillier sounds, like either produce it up or produce it down. But it was sort of like this weird middle road where it was big in some areas and not big in I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, but a lot of people here in the Twitch chat, they're saying, "Oh, I thought this was hilarious." So
yeah,
you and I sometimes overthink things, anyways.
So the first question was, what did Matt Riddle have for breakfast? And Tim Thatcher is like, I have no idea. Matt Riddle flips over his whiteboard. No idea, bro, is what it says. And he says, I don't even know what I had for breakfast. He says, I wake and my wife bakes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a weed reference.
Yeah.
And then Thatcher's asked what his favorite TV show is. And he says, I don't even own a TV. And Byron says, well, you're considered buying one. And Thatcher says, well, they're expensive, but if the price is right. Now, at that point, Riddle turns his whiteboard around and says, the price is right. I guess they're on the same page. Next question. Tim has asked, where, being a pro wrestler, where's the craziest place you've ever done it?
Okay, so you have to appreciate that this is a classic Newlywed Game question.
Whoopee.
Yeah.
That's what they'd call it. Whoopee.
And what was the best answer to that question?
That would be in the butt bob.
That was a legitimate.
Yeah.
That actually aired on like prime time, I think.
Yeah, in the 70s, man.
In the butt.
I believe the question was, where's the weirdest place you've ever made whoopee?
Yeah.
And some dude answered, in the butt bob.
Oh, man, the 70s are crazy. So, yeah, he said, so Timothy, thinking that he's talking about professional wrestling, he says, well, of course, in the pro wrestling ring, but one time I had a triple threat in a laundromat.
And then Matt turns his board around and says, threesome on a washer.
Yeah.
He said, now it's time to play for the big money. Speed round. That's when Riddle says, speed isn't really my thing. And then they're attacked by Imperium. That bit where I know there was a crash pad on the other side because you can pretty much hear it. But when they dropped Riddle on the other side of the barricade with that belly to back, that was cool.
Yeah, that was neat.
And then they eventually get their finish on Thatcher. Stand over him holding the tag titles.
Yeah, so given that Finn Balor, so I didn't watch any of the, I know he had a thing with Imperium. He's going to address his attacker next week on NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Are we assuming because of the travel stuff and the pandemic stuff that they're dropping the Walter thing?
I would think for the time being. Although I was actually really surprised that Bartel and Eichner were there. Maybe they live in Orlando. I don't know.
I mean, they've been there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know either.
I don't know. Next, we had a Make-A-Wish Foundation video package. Following that was Adam Cole promo. We're getting Velveteen Dream versus Adam Cole next week for the title. Cole says that he's reality. Dream is the experience that no one ever wanted. Cole says, I'm going to show up champion. I'm going to show out as the greatest champion. And I'm going to leave as champion. That was pretty much it. So that's undisputed. Dun, dun, dun.
Whatever happened to Malcolm Bivens, guys?
Haven't seen him for a couple weeks.
Weren't they the guys that were going to...
Seemed that way.
Okay.
I feel like there's been a lot of restarts the last couple weeks.
Because last time we saw them, they were taking on jobbers, right?
Mm-hmm. But they were going. I mean, they were going after Matt Riddle.
They had attacked Matt Riddle.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Everything's thrown for a loop these days, I guess.
Definitely seems that way.
Yeah, so we talked a little bit about this, Mia Yim versus Charlotte Flair. So Mia Yim got some stuff in, but I just kind of felt like everything she got in, Charlotte just sort of shook off.
That's kind of what Charlotte does, though.
That's a good point.
I kind of feel like Charlotte, someone hits with the finish, she kicks out, and then within, I don't know, a count of two, she's up on her feet again.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I just kind of feel like that's Charlotte these days. Is she's booked as so overpowered that she kind of no-sells a lot of stuff. The finish to this saw Mia go for protect your neck. Charlotte grabs it, reverses into a figure eight, and then Mia has to tap. And then Charlotte, as she makes her way out, she's met by Io Shirai at the foot of the ramp. Io's just screaming at her. Says, next week, Charlotte, you're mine.
Should be a good match, though. Should be a good match.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm kind of sad.
I hope Charlotte sells for Io.
Me too. I wish Io would. I mean, okay, so I guess we can take this time to just think about this now. It's big NXT next week. Is it going to be live? Because I know whatchamacallit's going to be live. Is NXT countering with a live episode?
I think so.
Okay.
I could be wrong, though.
Okay. Well, regardless, it's a big episode. You'd think there's going to be maybe a title change, and it ain't going to be Charlotte, I wouldn't think. Feels like maybe Dream might get that title next week.
Maybe.
Although they didn't do anything beyond that quick Adam Cole promo to hype it. So, God, maybe not. I don't know. If Keith Lee versus Damian Priest was happening next week in that thing, I'd say, okay, maybe they'll give it to Damian Priest so Keith Lee can move on, which is what I was hoping they'd do this week.
Didn't happen, man.
Nope.
It doesn't feel like Dream has any momentum behind him. So if he wins the title, it'd be like, oh, all right.
Like I felt like, I don't know. Nothing feels like anything has it. I mean, you can build stories in a certain way. Like what's coming up? Okay, so we got Double or Nothing coming up in a month.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know who the tag champs are facing, right?
No. The only match announced so far is Cody and Archer, and they've actually done a pretty solid job building that up.
They've done a really good job building that up. And that title is I mean, it's not going to change hands. It's going to go into hands.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we're probably going to get Sheeta versus Nyla Rose.
You'd think so, yeah.
I mean, they haven't done anything to build it, but they don't really need to. Sheeta's won a bunch of matches.
She's number one contender. I mean, that's kind of the advantage, the creative standpoint you have with having rankings. You're like, oh, we didn't really have to build this match because rankings say she's number one.
I guess I'm just sort of trying to get at the idea of like title changes in the empty arena era that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they can build stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know.
I just feel like there's a lot of maybe they have plans for things and they find out someone can't travel or whatnot, and they kind of have to scrap plans. After that, we had a Karrion Kross video package. He's going to debut properly next week.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
Scarlett Bordeaux. That should be good.
Are they just going to feed him? Who are they going to feed him? Just a jobber or something? Raul Mendoza? Tahuti Miles? It's got to be somebody bigger now, right?
Yeah.
Shane Thorne.
You said somebody bigger than that, Steve.
Brendan Vink. Technically,
Again.
is actually bigger than that.
Technically larger, yes.
That'd be impressive. To see a killer Karrion Kross take down a big dude like that.
About Kona Reeves. There you go.
Perfect.
Next, we see Kacy Catanzaro backstage. She's getting her neck checked out. And then Johnny and Candice roll up, and she says, "From now on, this is a new NXT. Get used to it."
Okay, Biff Tannen. Get used to it, butthead.
But you make like a tree and get out of here, Kacy.
Get out of here.
Next, we got a brief little recap of the Where's Finn saga. Apparently, he wasn't kidnapped or spirited away from the NXT arena. Someone just tore through his crap, and then Regal said, "You don't have to wrestle tonight." I thought the implication was not only was he attacked, but like he was taken somewhere. He was gone, and therefore the match just couldn't happen. And then this week, they were like, yeah, he got attacked. His stuff got, like tore up. So Regal's like, "You don't have to wrestle tonight, Finn."
Well, he's a big star.
I know.
You have
It's
to
like,
make allowances.
It's like Jordan not having to listen to Phil Jackson's pregame speech every game.
Right, exactly.
Apparently, because it was his time for his pregame poop.
Wait, was that in The Last Dance? Did I miss that?
I read something about that. How Jordan, earned the equity being, best player in the world. Where that was his time. Whenever Phil did his speech, was his time to go and do his pregame poop.
Oh wow, that's if you've got your regular time, you've got your regular time.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, the last thing you want in any sort of athletic endeavor is feeling like you got to drop a crap while you're trying to do something.
Yeah, that's not good. That's not
fine.
good.
So you got to, if that's a situation where it's a regular thing you do, you got to do it.
You don't want to end up like Paul Pierce.
Yeah.
You crap yourself on the court.
Fakes an injury because he pooped himself on the court. He's taken out of there in a wheelchair because he pooped.
Would you do that? I'd do that. I'd be like, my knee.
I don't know if I'd go that far. I'd be like, "Coach, poop my pants."
But that's that. But then everybody knows.
No, I wouldn't make a show of it. I just call out of the game, and like coach, like, "What's going on?" "Poop my pants." Like, I need to go to the locker room. All right, fair enough. And then like they show the shot of me like sprinting to the locker room. Maybe there's something dripping out of my shorts. Who knows?
Holding your butt back here.
Yeah, I know. After that, we had Dexter Lumis versus Shane Thorne. Another opportunity for Dexter Lumis to show off how awesome he is and hear his great theme song.
I loved it. Thorne gave him some chops, and he just like started rubbing his nipple. That was awesome.
That was pretty
cool.
He
loves it.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I love when Dexter Lumis picked up Shane Thorne by his ears.
Yeah.
It took me back to 8th grade when I was bullied, and bully picked me up by my ears.
Oh, man. Let's go find him. Find him.
Water on the bridge, man. Water
under the bridge. That's when you actually make amends with somebody.
No, that's when you're like, all right, that's in the past.
Forgive and forget?
I'm not, dude, that was 30 years ago.
Let's bring it back, man. It's time to take your pound of flesh.
No way.
Yeah, dude. Brass knuckles.
No.
Spit in their mouth. These days, pandemic, that's disgusting.
It is disgusting.
Can we just fling some poo at their house?
No.
Do you think they have a house? Are they on Facebook?
I don't know. I'm not on Facebook.
Can I look them up on Facebook and then I can
I'm not gonna tell you who it is.
I got your back, dude.
You don't have to have my back.
Does their first name start with an R?
Lumis wins this match, hits a side effect, locks in the arm triangle. Shane Thorne fades, passes out. Ref calls for bell. It actually did a good shot where it's just like a steady close up on Shane Thorne, or medium. So you get Dexter in the background. You see Shane try to fight it off, passes out. It's good stuff.
Yeah, this was good because it just feels like Dexter Lumis. This is how he like kills an animal, or I mean, obviously a human as well. But he's trying to look into Shane Thorne's eyes as he dies, basically.
Yeah, and then after Shane Thorne passes out, Dexter sits and Shane's head is in Dexter's lap. He's kind of petting it. It's pretty good.
Oh, it's rad. I love Dexter Lumis. He's great.
We get a bit from last week where Jake Atlas is trying to inspire Drake Maverick.
Yeah, give him a pep talk.
Saying, you're great, man.
You can do it.
You can do it. After that, Keith Lee promo. He's talking in raspy tones because he has a bruised larynx.
Because he got hit in the throat by Damian Priest's sex toy.
Mm-hmm. And Lee says Priest likes to say he wants to live forever. He wants to live for in infamy. But so will this beatdown I'm about to give you tonight, Damian. Next.
After that, we had Tony Nese versus Drake Maverick, which was about 7 minutes of Tony Nese mocking Drake Maverick, and then 2
beating
minutes
the hell out of him.
Yeah, and beating the crap out of him. And then Drake Maverick taking off the proverbial gloves, but in this case, he took off his actual elbow pads and wailed away on Tony Nese, and then ended up getting him with a
wheelbarrow bulldog off the top. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was cool. He busted up his elbow too. I wonder if that's going to be a story going forward.
Could be. Afterwards, he had an interview. Said, I did it. Kushida's all I got left. He said, you can call me the Wolf of Wall Street. Call me the Wolf of NXT. And I almost feel like he actually dropped an F-bomb here because it sounded pretty close to it. He says, because I'm not frickin' leaving yet. But the way he said it so fast actually sounded like he said F-word.
Yeah. I don't know. I heard the R in there.
I did too, but he said it fast enough that if you weren't paying attention, you could have heard F-word there. Mm-hmm. He says, I'm not going to leave.
I was just really tickled that he referenced that scene in Wolf of Wall Street.
I'm not fucking leaving.
What was the Twitter video the tweet?
Oh, yeah.
What was that?
I don't remember, but someone had that little video. It cracked me up too.
When this person was told to leave. God dang it, what was it? I forget what it was. Wasn't it like a Bernie reference?
Oh, maybe.
When Bernie's told to drop out and endorse Biden. I'm not fucking leaving.
Oh man, that movie's too long, but it's pretty fun.
It is, man. I'm telling you, it's Scorsese. That's his thing these days. Movies that are way too long, but are totally quotable.
Yeah.
Like there's so many little scenes that are just killer, but the actual movies are just way too long. I'm not fucking leaving.
Show closes out with Damian Priest versus Keith Lee for the North American title. Fun enough match. Never really got to sense Keith Lee with any real danger. However,
I'd like to watch this match back at like 150% speed, faster, because this was the definition of methodical.
Yeah,
it was just lumbering. Cool moves. Don't get me wrong. Cool moves. And they're doing the thing, at the end. They're making Keith Lee into kind of a Superman type guy because, like, Damian Priest has a sex toy out, and he's gonna try to use it on him, and Keith Lee grabs his arm and says, "I am limitless."
Yeah.
And then he takes out of his hand, and Damian doesn't know how to act while he's got his arm gripped because he's just standing there like.
I know he's not like. It should be like General Zod in Superman 2 when he realized Superman's crushing his hand and has his powers back.
He should know. He should be shrinking down because he's such a tall guy.
I know.
And he's got his arm and he. Exactly. And so Keith Lee should be crushing his arm, his forearm there. And he should be falling away. But instead, he's just sort of standing there, waiting
it's like
for
when
the
I asked
next
him if he
thing
wanted
to
a donut. He's just standing there thinking about it.
The one that got away.
Yeah.
Who was that bearded man with the donut?
I should have accepted Dunkin' Donut from that gentleman. That donut would have lived forever in my tummy. Donut of infamy.
Oh,
but yeah, it was a fun enough match.
Yeah.
A little slow, some cool spots. In the end, 2 power bombs. Keith Lee defeats Damian Priest.
So there you go. There's your NXT episode. Let's answer some questions.
Sure, I'll do Twitch. How about that?
All right, cool. I'll go to the Patreon.
Sounds good. Let's see, where did we leave off? Here. If you got one, go ahead.
Okay, I'll go right. Come on, NXT QA thread. Here we go. View. First question is from Lubricant Hornet. Says, I love Drake, but do you guys think he has a tendency to oversell? Nah, I think if that's one of his strengths, to make it look like he's really getting his ass whooped, I'm down with how he sells.
Especially
stuff.
being more often than not the smaller competitor in the ring to really sell the underdog. I mean, like Tony Nese, I know he's not tall in relative terms, but he's jacked.
He's got at least like 50 pounds of muscle over Drake
so
Maverick.
If he's throwing Drake Maverick around the ring, I want Drake to scream in pain to really sell the fact that he's potentially overmatched.
He's the closest thing they have to a Marco Stunt, somebody who is just clearly smaller than like everybody.
Rich says, can my kiddo friendos Michaela and Chase get shout outs? Also, Steve, I have a hilarious Red Dead Redemption 2 online character to show you.
Okay, sounds good. Yes, shout out to Rich's kids.
Michaela and Chase.
There you go. Let's see here. Scotty Sparks. Which incarnation do you like better and how they were booked in each company? Okay, this is assuming we know anything about Punishment Martinez.
Punishment
Martinez or Damian Priest. I don't know much about Punishment Martinez, but I do know that Damian Priest has a weaponized sex toy, according to Dijak, and he's a clubber, and he likes archery, and he has women that he may or may not actually own.
I don't believe any of those things were the case in Ring of Honor.
Right. So I know it's a lot to deal with.
Might have had the TV title. That's it.
Right. I know that's a lot, but it's more than just a cool name. And I will say this, Punishment Martinez is a much cooler name than Damian Priest.
It was a really cool name.
Really cool name.
Zondo, in honor of the premiere of the best new thing on NXT, Newly Bros. Steve, where is the weirdest place Larson has done it?
We don't broach that subject. we that's one thing we don't. Well, I don't know. We've talked about that kind of stuff like sometimes, but it's not very often. Or in the butt. I don't know. In the butt, Bob.
That would be in the butt, Bob.
Oh man. Let's see here. James Fletcher, you're trapped in a desert island.
Oh, inside of it.
Yes. What 3 wrestlers do you take with you and why? I mean, I'm trapped on a desert island, whatever 3 single women in NXT there are.
I'm not happy about this answer, but I think it's if I'm trapped on a desert island, it's going to be the Forgotten Sons. 2 of the 3 have military experience.
Idiot.
2 of the 3 have military experience, so they might be training some sort of survival techniques. That's going to be necessary. They all hang out at a junkyard. They all probably know how to build things.
All right, so trapped as in permanently?
From a personality standpoint, I'm going to be driven crazy. However, they seem like they'd be useful to have around.
Permanently? Is this permanent?
I don't know. I hope not. Hopefully, if I have them building a raft, I can get off that desert island.
Sarah Logan.
All right.
She's adept at hunting. She knows how to do all that stuff. Plus, if we're there for good,
All right.
You need to build a relationship of some sort, man. And
okay.
I'm not down with Jackson Riker in that respect.
I'm not either. I'm saying the personality aspect is gonna be maddening. But if they're useful, if they're good with building things, hunting, survival techniques, first things first, I'm not gonna be getting very far anywhere if I'm not surviving.
Ronda Rousey.
They drive me crazy. I'd probably what?
Ronda Rousey, she is all about self-sustainability.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to go with her, Sarah Logan, and who else is about self-sustainability that's in the women's division? Because at least then, you know what I mean? This might be forever, man.
I understand
forever.
That, yes.
Forever.
I just feel like if I'm there with Forgotten Sons, it's my best chance to get off the island.
Is it now? That's what I'm trying to think of too, man.
I know. O-Dog, I think Steve would love Lucha Underground because of all the murder and weird storylines, plus Joey Ryan as undercover cop posing as a wrestler to solve a murder.
You're probably right. Right.
It's all really ridiculous.
You're probably right. I probably would appreciate it.
Dang MQ, with Cruiserweight division now part of NXT, are you surprised we haven't seen Kendrick, Davari, and the Singh brothers in NXT yet?
No, I'm not surprised. They're just enhancement guys for 205. I like this. I like the Singh brothers. I like all those guys.
Yeah,
but not enough to want to see them on NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Dog Authority figure. You guys offered Damian Priest a donut. What other foods would you offer to members of the NXT roster?
Brownie to Matt Riddle.
Oh, that's good. That's really good. This is funny. A. Rosen says, Steve says 3 single NXT women, then picks the only married women. Or then picks only married women. Here's the thing, though. I'm married too. But if this is permanent, none of that matters. Is my point.
Zondo, tune in next Wednesday to find out who shat in Finn's gear bag. It was 10 years ago. We'd have the prime culprit.
Oh, we would totally know it was Randy Orton. Let's see here.
Fear and Loathing says if you combine Ministry of Darkness, Undertaker, and The Godfather, you get Damian Priest.
Undertaker and that's funny, yeah. Sleazy Mo says NXT is lacking in tag teams. Pick 2 people from the interim Cruiserweight Championship tournament who should team up. This is a good question. How about the 2 guys that opened up the show? Because Isaiah Swerve Scott mentioned that he had fought King Cuerno before and put them together. I feel like Swerve needs some sort of he still lacks direction. Yeah. He's got the weird logo. I feel like before, remember his theme song has changed. His original theme song in NXT or 205, whatever he's on, I thought was much more in keeping with I don't know, Swerve, like a smooth guy. It was a very smooth theme.
Yeah, it was. Like aesthetically, I like Garbage Pail Kid style logo. Not sure it really fits though, his character.
It doesn't at all. And it's weird.
Austin 17, if Cole wins, do you think Lumis is the next challenger because he only comes out when Undisputed Era is around?
I think Lumis is going to be a challenger. I think he's going to go through the North American Championship first. But I think it might be a little while.
Yeah. Adrian C., when Charlotte had her speech a few weeks back, it made it seem as if they were going to make us wait for a while for a match versus Io. Any idea why we're getting it so soon again, and does Charlotte lose in order for her to go back to Raw? I don't think she's going to lose. I get the idea that they'd probably have no idea when they'll be able to do any sort of real takeover again.
Yeah.
So they're just going to tear through some matches, and then when they get to do a takeover again, then Rhea will get a rematch, and then she'll win.
That's exactly correct. Yeah.
Dominist, I know you've been pushing for Kushida, but I don't see him winning. I've got Phantasma and Drake in the final, with Phantasma winning after a reveal that the guys in the Lucha mask were working for him all along, resulting in a Phantasma heel turn by screwing over the sentimental favorite. Could be.
Remember that name? Who said that?
Dom
L said that? All right. Hey, Dom L, tell you what. If that happens, I will put the Ruby figure in the red glowy case down here as opposed to just her feet, which can be seen right there.
Yeah, there you go.
That's a very specific story beat, but I kind of like it.
That is good. This interesting point from Red Enigma. They did do a demon version of Damian Priest in Ring of Honor at least once or twice.
Oh, that's cool. Did he own women? Matt Doolittle says this. He says, I asked this for a mailbag question, but I'm new and I didn't hear if you responded. We did, but I'll answer it again here. He says, I've been a fan of you guys for a very long time, and there are 2 running jokes that are impossible to Google the origin of. Your pronunciation of Carl Anderson.
From Bullet Club theme.
So if you listen to the Bullet Club thing, you can YouTube it. There's the voice.
Bad boy Tama Tonga.
He rattles off all the names of and then what is War Games?
When Regal announced the Undisputed Era to be in the first NXT War Games match, and he said there's only one battleground that could contain this level of action. War Games.
And then you see
Cole did this. War Games.
And you don't hear him because he isn't mic'd, but he totally,
It was great.
Yeah.
Zondo, who gets magic powers on main roster first, Lumis or Priest? Priest.
Who gets magical powers? Yeah, I don't view Dexter Lumis as a magical guy.
No,
he's a murderer.
You can easily. I wouldn't be surprised if Damian Priest gets called up instant vampire storyline.
Tim Morris says, Imperium interrupting the Newly Bro show was a face move, right? That shit was terrible. So Tim Morris
pretty
is
awkward.
on the other end of things.
Dang MQ, Curtis Axel has been released. Yeah, we'll talk about that on News Brief because it might not be the last one.
Wolfpack for Life says, what is Kacy Catanzaro's ceiling?
I mean, her offense is really creative.
Yeah, I think she's rad. I just don't know if that's enough to take her to the top of the top. I don't know.
And she's relatively new, so from the storytelling, like I think athletically she's fine. She's really creative in terms of her moves. I would guess it's the storytelling aspect of things that probably needs some further development, as much as anything.
How old is she?
I don't think she's that old.
She is. I'm going to guess 24.
Yeah, I was going to say 26.
30.
Oh, okay.
Let's see here. Alex Foster says, so is it safe to say that NXT might be the most dangerous brand with kidnappings, parking lot attacks, and a potential serial killer? What would the employer tell future employees about this place?
Don't go in the parking lot.
Don't go in the parking lot.
Don't go in the parking lot.
Stay away from. If you hear a van rolling up to you, run
back inside.
Don't
stay away from Dexter Lumis.
Yeah, and or at least no eye contact with Dexter Lumis.
Always lock up your belongings.
Yeah. Carry a gun.
Well, that might be too much. You're just making it more dangerous at that point.
Maybe. Anyways, that's it for NXT Recap today. We'll be back later on with a news brief. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. Till next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.